You can see in the syllabus we have some coming up called book report. We have a book report coming up, and I want to tell you a little bit more about that and help you get prepared. So the book report is going to be due not next week, but in 2 weeks. So I want you to prepare for it. So look at, let's see, I'm going to ask you to look in your book for extension activity. I think it's on page 30-something. Yeah, page 34 and 35. Yeah, 34 and 35. Look at page 34. 34 and 35. 34, do you see it? It says extension activity. It says extension activity 1, book report assignment. Can you find it? Good, okay. So this one, do you see it? Okay, and you can see it, you can see that we have the book report coming up on what date? March 8th. March 8th. So that's in 2 weeks. And I want to explain to you what you need to do to prepare. All right? First, let me ask you a question. Do you know do you have a library card for your local library, your public library?
Yes.
You do? Okay. You need to have a library card so you can borrow books from your public library. For example, I live in Sunnyvale, so my closest library is the Sunnyvale City Library. Maybe you live in Santa Clara and you go to the Santa Clara Public Library. If you live in San Jose, there are many different branch libraries. You know, wherever you live, just go to the library close to you that's convenient for you. And then you get a library card. Some of you already have one, right? You get a library card. It's free. You just identify your name and address, and then they make a card for you. It's like your student card, and it allows you to borrow books. And you can borrow books usually for about 3 weeks. Each library is different. At my library, I can borrow books for 3 weeks. Now, our local libraries have different areas. There's some books for adults, and then there's books for young people, maybe teenagers. There's also a section for children. So I want you to find the section of the library that's for children, the children's library section. You need to find that section in your main library. So in your big library, there's one section for children. It'll be easy for you to identify because that's where all the kids are. The moms and the dads and the grandpas and the grandmas, they take their children in there, and they're reading books. And there are picture books, right? So there are different kinds of books. So here's what I want you to do. If you look in your assignments page on Angel, I'm showing you on the screen right here. Let me broadcast it out to your screen too. Okay, so on March 1st, which is next week, of course you're going to follow the syllabus for those Chapter 6 activities, but you also need to go to your public library. Go to the children's room at your local public library and select 3 picture books accompanied by audio tapes or CDs. All right, so there are some picture books, there are many, many books on the shelf, but there's also usually a different section where they have a rack and they have a plastic bag, and the bag has a book and a CD in it, a book and a tape, or a book and a CD together. I want you to get that kind, because then you can listen to the story and you can hear perfect pronunciation and expression when you hear this with a CD, okay? So when you get better at reading by yourself, you can read all the books from the shelf, but this time I want you to get an example with a CD so you can listen to it and read it both, all right? So I want you to get 3 of them. You choose 3 of them. They can be for 3-year-old kids or 2-year-old or 4-year-old, any age you want. Maybe you can get some for different ages. Now, in the library, in the children's section, there's a special librarian. And the special librarian for the children's section knows a lot about children's books. So I recommend you go to her or him and you say, I'm learning English. My teacher wants me to get 3 children's books with CDs. Can you help me? Then they can show you where to go, and you can choose them. And you can choose different ones. See which ones you like, all right? And then you can take them home, and you can listen to them. So I want you to take them home and listen to them. Because sometimes you choose a book, and Then you listen and you say, oh, this is too difficult for me. I can't pronounce the word for the children. The children won't understand me. But this one, oh, this one's really good. Oh, I like this story. So that's why you choose 3, and then you can see which one you like best, and then second most, and third. You can bring those with you next week. All right? And when you bring them with you next week, I'd like you to put the name of it on a card so that I can have your list of books. Okay, so if you just give me a note card, and you can put your name on it, and then you can put the title of each of your books that you like. And you can put the one you like the best in number 1, and then number 2 and number 3. You can put the number 3 books, the titles of the books that you borrowed from your library, and bring the books too, so I can see them and your friends can see them too. Okay? So you're gonna want to listen to them and find out, and then decide which one you think is best and next. So I will help you choose one of them. Now this will get you prepared for your book report assignment, which is in English for Childcare on page 34. And this one will be due in 2 weeks. And you're going to learn what children's books are and what kind there are in English, because there are a lot of them. And I'm not asking you to bring 40, just 3. But if you want to borrow more, that's okay too. But you just need to bring 3 of them to class. And I want you to think about and understand what children learn from books. Right? Why do we read books to children? What do children learn? What can they learn from books? And I also want you to think about which books are good for what age, right? Because some books are good for children of 2 years old, others are good for children who are 5 years old, other books are good for children who are 8 years old. You want to choose a book that is good for the age of the child. Okay, so when you try to select the books, you will get a better idea about the age. Then you're going to write the information that's here. So I'm not going to go over this right now because you can read this for your homework. So your first thing to do is to get some books and listen to them on CD. Make sense? Is there everybody understand that? So next week, what will you bring? 3 books with CDs, right, or tapes or CDs. Okay. And before you come, you will already have listened to them at least once, so you can hear the story and you understand which one you like first and next and next. Clear? Good.